I'm not the biggest Lord of the Rings fan. I thought I would just like give that disclaimer out there. So I don't have as much of a dog in this fight as than some may think. Well, those who know me on Twitter who see this, how I put this, like my introduction to like I was aware of the movies. I tried seeing I think the second one when I was in middle school. Didn't really give much of a shit. I think it wasn't until like I was in college when the Shadow of Mordor came out and I found Clash of the Gods episodes about Tolkien that I was like, oh, this is interesting stuff. Like, I need to learn more about this. And years later, I still barely learned any of it. But so I'm not as big of an invested fan, but I do find it kind of funny that, like, just after I think maybe a year or two of us hearing nothing but bad news, updates, rumors, or statements, Amazon still published this trailer, and they did not see this. They probably didn't see this coming. They were that arrogant, and it was just. I don't even have the word. It almost surreal. No, not surreal. It was. I almost want to say kind of elating seeing the backlash they got with that first show, like the number of downvotes and when it came out what the story was just it was glorious. It was kind of beautiful. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not saying this got me turgent, but this did have me laughing somewhat inside because I'm like, oh, I love this. I love seeing when a collective fandom of real fans, not these shit stained pretenders that you see on the OneRing.net or the One Ring website that's trying to support this goat fuck. Or just like, I hate fake fans, but the real ones, I love it seeing them come together and say collectively, fuck you to people who are trying to encroach on something they've been fans of for decades. And these pretenders come in thinking we're going to make money off you, and if you don't like it, you're an istrophobe. So yeah, that's my overall thought on this whole thing. And they are butchering the lore. Like I don't know much about the Tolkien lore, but I do know enough to know, and people have been commenting on the lore and how this contradicts with what Amazon is making for me to know that yes, they are like this is going to make what was done with Shadow of War look like a fucking documentary. Like this will make Shadow of War and Shadow of Mordor look like faithful adaptations by comparison. That's my bet. And I think this really kind of is struck the hardest, or nothing more perfectly encapsulates this than what they're doing with Galadriel. Like like this is the time of this great alliance that she had no part in. She was not a soldier, as far as I can find, or from what I've been hearing. I guess I'm probably gonna look up just to make sure I didn't like make an ass of myself on this, but yeah, it is. Like, I would love to see the look on the people who made this faces when they got all those downvotes. Like, that must have come crashing down with the thunderous crush of Revelation so hard that it makes the Revelation Raziel experience and the legacy of Cain look mild by comparison. Well, that's something. And I'm surprised I haven't heard more about like them attacking fans from. I'm surprised I haven't heard anything yet. I expect to hear that down the line. And yeah, I think this really is just a disgusting play on Amazon's part because it shows the people they have working on it don't actually care about this shit. And yeah, that's all I can really say. It shows that they don't care. And like I said in my modern adaptations, just be faithful to the source material, just for fuck's sake. But apparently, that's asking too much for an industry that is now lazier than a fat cat. But it is funny to me seeing this, and I'm just like, they must have been thinking that everyone's gonna love this is gonna be the bestest thing ever, and then nope, they get slapped right in the face. And I'm just sitting here going, you get what you fucking deserve. And yeah, it's a funny situation for me. Just seeing, and I love the part about when they released the trailer for it. Everyone was replying with a paraphrasing of Tolkien. Well, it's paraphrasing a line from one of the Lord of the Rings books, apparently, where it says, "Evil cannot create, only destroy." I don't think Tolkien said that. I believe that's a paraphrase of a line that you see in either the books or the movies. I forget which. I think I'm going with the books. Like as I said earlier, I'm going with the books on this guess because I think the line was something like, I believe they were saying it something effective like how the orcs used to be elves and that evil corrupted it instead of making them into something better. And I guess that's where the line "evil cannot create, only destroy." Well, that perfectly encapsulates the modern entertainment industry, and this perfectly encapsulates Amazon. Based on what they did to The Wheel of Time, I expect nothing but a grand go fuck. Like, I'm wondering if there's going to be a Lord of the Rings gate or a Tolkien gate or something, because that would be glorious. That would just be funny because they seem to want a gamer gate for everything. They seem to want it for Dungeons and Dragons. They seem to want it for video games in general. They seem to want it for comics. I mean, we've already got a comics and a gamer gate, so yeah, like, they are the most counterproductive dumbasses I've ever seen. Like, I don't even know who I'm referring to in this situation. I'm just saying the entertainment in general seems to enjoy pissing people off. Like, if you're not going to be faithful, then don't bother doing it. Like, there's an old saying, go big or go home. And if you want to go big, you have to please the fans as much as possible. Now, granted, you aren't going to be able to please all of them, but you should at least try to please the biggest common, or the biggest number as possible. That would be my preference, but then again, I would like to make money and not piss people off in the process. And yeah, that's all I can think to say is, like, the Lord of the Rings was basically like the One Ring, and much like the Nazgul, Amazon went after it. And I'm assuming Jeff Bezos is the Sauron in this analogy, but or whoever's in charge of Amazon Prime, they made that deal. But anyway, that's my thoughts overall on this whole debacle. I think I did a video on this already, but it probably wasn't as good. In fact, it's probably as bad as this one. But yeah, I can't say I'm that shocked now. Like, knowing what I know, like after everything I heard that they did to Wheel of Time, like I watched Shadiversity's second channel, Night's Watch, talk about that shit show, and they went into everything wrong with it, how it contradicted with the books, how it belittled the men, how it basically bent their character over a barrel and showed it to 50 states, how they empowered women beyond logical means. Like, they had a pregnant woman killing a bunch of men in a battle, which should not make sense, because at that point, that baby shouldn't be possible to be born. It should be like, that baby might as well have been put in a blender. So yeah, after everything I heard that they did with Wheel of Time, and then I heard they were also making the Lord of the Rings series, and based on the rumors I was hearing, I was like, oh, this is gonna fucking suck. Like, I may not be a part of the Lord of the Rings fandom, but God, do I feel sorry for them. I mean, granted, I'm trying to get into the lore so I can be a part of that community, but fuck me, do I feel sorry for them. And I feel sorry for Tolkien. He has to be rolling over in his grave on some level. And I feel sorry for his son, too, because I think he was the only one who actually gave a shit about his dad's legacy. As far as I know, the rest of the Tolkien estate just cares about making money. And again, if you wanted to make money, you could have just licensed out the property to people who could make Elseworld stories. I would have just done that. I mean, it probably would have still pissed the fans off, but at least you could say, at least you had an excuse for butchering the lore. At least you had that excuse, but they don't have that excuse here. I don't think. I'm pretty sure they... Yeah, no, they butchered the lore, and... man, they are going to go full Leatherface on it, probably. Anyway, that's the video. Have a nice day. Remember, the game was right from the start, and Fuck me, I want to try bourbon now.